Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Become a Better Man. Become a Better Man. I want to start by appreciating everyone that turned up last Saturday for the Become a Better Man seminar that we had in Erith. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be part of it, and I hope the things that we shared, the things that we talked about, I hope you found benefit and value in all of it. So thank you so much. And for those that wanted to come or tried to come, couldn't locate the place, sincere apologies about that as well. We will take that into consideration when we have our next event. So thank you so much, and it's an honor to have all of you at the seminar. Thank you. Appreciate your time and your effort. Thank you. Well, welcome to another week. And you know, this month of May, we are looking at man and his finance. Man and his finance. And this is the third episode of this program this week. And I'm sure for all of us, we have all learned one thing or another since the week or the month started. I have learned definitely, and I'm still learning and will continue to learn, because the day you stop learning is the day you start dying, both physically and also intellectually. So it's good to keep learning. Oh, Prince Will Omoba, thank you so much for joining us on today's program. I appreciate your time. In the first week, we look at man and his finance. Last week, we looked at building wealth. Building wealth. And this week, we'll be looking at another topic, which, again, like I said, when it comes to man and his finance, man in terms of man, male and female. Hey, Rachel, thank you for coming. Tunde Otilo, thank you for coming and for joining and for sharing. Appreciate you. When it comes to finance, we are all, in one way or another, affected, impacted. We are all concerned about finance in one way or the other, because we are all using it, we're transacting with it, we're relating to it, we're using it in our everyday life activity. So somehow, when the issue of finance is discussed, there is almost no exemption. In one way or another, you and I are involved. In one way or another, you and I are affected. So this month is a very, very crucial month on this platform, because we'll be looking at some of the areas where we all somehow have been falling short, or having issues or difficulties, or where we have not had enough understanding when it comes to finance, to money, to savings, to investment, to debt, to discipline, and all of that relates to our finance. So that is what we will be looking at throughout this month. On today's program, the topic for today is the myth and realities of financial independence. The myth and the realities of financial independence. Kenny, thank you for joining us. We will be killing some religious cows today and some financial cows as well. And there are some of the things that we've held dear, that we've believed, that we've even spoken about, prayed about, sang about. Some of them we will be putting them into question tonight, just to see how valid are those ideas and ideologies that we have held there for this long. So that is where we will be looking at on today's program. But before we go into it, I want us to start from a point of knowledge. somewhere where we all can relate to, something that we all can talk about, because either currently or somewhere along the line we've all been affected, we've all been involved in it, and that is the issue of debt. The issue of debt, owing something, owing someone, owing an organization, in whatever form or shape. The issue of debt, I will go as far as to say, after sin, the biggest yoke that mankind carries is the yoke of debt. Debt is a slave master. Adekombi Adegbenro, thank you for being part of the program tonight. Debt is a slave master. It's a yoke. It's a burden. It's not surprising, therefore, when the Bible compares the issue of money to be as powerful, almost as powerful as God himself. He said, you cannot serve two masters. You can't serve God and serve Mammon. You'll have to choose who you are going to serve. That's how strong the hold of money is in the lives of men. And what it has done, a lot of us have gone down the wrong path, either knowingly or out of ignorance, and we have found ourselves entrapped in the yoke and in the burden, in the bondage, in the slavery of debt. My prayer tonight is, whatever it is that has brought it on you, whatever it is that has led any of us down that path, the God that we serve will have mercy and grant us wisdom, grant us the ability, because he said, I give you power to make wealth, that he will give us the grace to know how to come out of it. But part of coming out of it is what we're doing tonight. Bible talks about faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And as we go through tonight's program, you will begin to see nuggets and wisdom and ideas and concepts of how to tame this yoke and this burden called debt. Debt is so strong, it steals joy. It will steal your sleep, your peace, your relationships, your dignity. In fact, debt will go as far as stealing your life, because once your joy is gone, the sleep is gone, your relationship is in turmoil, your peace is not there. What is left in life? That's how strong the hold of debt can be on man. Unfortunately, the world in which we live in it's like traveling in a vehicle, and the vehicle that the world we live in is fueled by the concept of debt. Does that mean we can't get out of it? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying somehow, willingly or unwillingly, a lot of people ended up on this vehicle that is fueled by debt. Adedeji, this is thank you for joining. Omonike Keade, thank you. You are very welcome. That is why you have even government of nations, of countries, heavily indebted to I don't know who. The American debt is over some trillions of dollars. The UK is in debt. Canada is in debt. Nigeria is in debt. Yugoslavia. Any country and every country is indebted to somebody. That is how strong the power of debt has been over the entire world. And if you don't agree with me, you just take out a note, a currency out of your pocket. Even the currency that we transact our daily buying and selling with is a vehicle of debt. What do I mean by that? Just have a look at the currency, maybe a £5, a £10, whatever note, dollar, naira, euro, yen, any type of currency that is in paper form. have a look at it, you will realize that it is actually a form of debt. It's a promissory note. It is every time you handle it, you are saying, I owe you. I owe somebody this, and I must find that person to give it to the person. It is a promissory note. It's a debt that we carry about. That is how much this has been engineered into the system of the life and the environment in which we live. So debt is something that we all live with, we experience. We've seen it in the lives of our parents, our grandparents, our neighbors, our colleagues. It's everywhere. The question then is, if debt is everywhere, as you are saying, Tunde, can one really be free from debt? Can one actually at some point come out of that yoke of slavery and bondage to debt? Can one at some point become financially independent where you don't have the issue of debt hanging around you? Is it possible? And if you are asking me that question, my answer is a resounding yes. It is possible. It is actually possible to be out of debt, to come out of debt, to be free from debt. Lekon, thank you for joining us. Kate, Imoindeme, thank you, ma'am, for joining us. I appreciate all of you. Please, let's go ahead and share tonight's program. It is possible to come out of debt. And my prayer, once again, is that by virtue of tonight's program, we will go away with some tools in our hands that can help us come out of debt. So, what is the opposite of being in debt, of being in a financial bondage or financial hardship, as it were? The opposite of that is to become financially free. Is to become financially free. Is to become financially independent. Is to become to come out from that, under that yoke and that stranglehold of debt. And that is what we're looking at tonight. What are the ways by which you and I can become financially independent, free from the hold of yoke, from the hold of debt, to be completely set free from lack, from want, from inadequacies, from shortage, from not enough, so that we can live a true free life. Bible talks about, Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and have it to the full, till it overflows, and have it in abundance. But yet we all know that the enemy comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And part of what it uses is this instrument of debt. So tonight, I am inviting you that let's go on this ride and find a way, tap into the knowledge, into the wisdom of how to be free from debt and become financially independent. And that is what we'll be looking at tonight. So what does it mean when we say financial independence? What exactly? How do you define financial independence? The Webster Dictionary broke it down into two. When you talk of finance or financial, as it is in financial independence, it pertains to the science of managing money. The science of managing money. The art of knowing how to handle, how to manage, how to appropriate, how to disseminate, how to save, how to invest, how to spend, how to make money. That is what it means. The word financial there, that is what it means. And the word independence means freedom from assistance by others. Freedom from assistance by others. So when you put the two words together, financial independence, it simply means Financial independence is the ability to manage your money in such a way that you have sufficient funds to live your chosen lifestyle without assistance from others. I'll say that again. Financial independence is the ability to manage your money in such a way that you have sufficient funds to live your chosen lifestyle without assistance from others. Elizabeth Wuraola, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate your time. Let's please go and share tonight's message. In other words, to be financially independent means you have enough money, enough funds, enough resources that you can choose not to work. Because if you are still working, then somebody is still assisting you because your employer is paying you salary for you to be able to make ends meet. So when you talk of financial independence, it doesn't mean you don't work. It simply means you choose. It's not a choice that you have made based on your circumstances, based on your willingness maybe to give back into society, to support, to help, to whatever it is. But it is your choice to do that. One of the things, or one of the biggest things that you have when you are financially independent is the power of choice. The power to choose whether to do or not to do, whether to buy or not to buy, whether to have or not to have, not because you can't afford it, not because it is too expensive, but because you just choose not to have it. The power of choice is perhaps the greatest, or one of the greatest benefits of being financially independent. Now, when you look at the definition that we've just looked at, that we've just talked about concerning financial independence, you'll agree with me that we didn't mention a certain amount of money or a value. We did not assign even a currency or a sign like a dollar or pounds or yen or euro. It didn't come at all into the definition. We didn't mention anything concerning the value, the amount, or the symbol of any currency when it comes to financial independence. The reason is that financial independence means different things to different people, depending on your circumstance, depending on your situation, depending on your position, depending on where you are per time. For instance, to some people, financial independence means they have yachts, they have mansions, they have aeroplanes, they have this, they have material things. To them, that is financial independence because that is where they are. To some other people, financial independence is the ability not to have to worry about paying your bills again. The fact that you are now at a position where paying your bills is no longer an issue, to some people, that is financial independence. To some, it is just having to live a comfortable life in their home. That is financial independence to that person. To some people, it's the fact that they don't have to go and get a second job or do another extra hour or overtime, work weekends and all of that. To some people, that is financial independence. To others, it is having enough, having sufficient resources, funds and assets and wealth to the point where you can actually say to your spouse, you know what, love? You don't have to work. You stay at home, look after the children, take whatever you need, it is supplied, you have it in abundance to the full till it overflows. To some people, that is financial independence. The fact that the father and the mother don't have to bail out of the house first thing in the morning, come back late at night, and the children they don't even know, you don't know what's happened to them, they don't know what's happened to you, you only say good night, and where's daddy? Oh, he's gone. Where's mommy? Oh, she's gone. To some people, financial independence is the ability where both of you or one of you can tell, do you know what? I am going to actually stay at home and look after the children, because from whatever is coming in from the other person, our needs are met. We are sufficient. We have all that we can possibly need or ask. So financial independence, it means different things to different people at different times in their lives. The question I need to ask is this: what does financial independence mean to you? You as a person, I want you to put your name in this question. Tunde, what does financial independence mean to you? What does it mean to you? Like we've said, there are different things that it means to different people. But you have to determine, you have to come to a point where you can qualify what financial independence means to you. So for you, for me, for each and every one of us, what does it mean to be financially independent? Because until you are able to determine that, you won't know where you're going. What would financial independence mean to your life? How would your days and nights be better if you know you had resources to meet all your financial obligations for the rest of your life? How would your day, your night, your relationship, your interactions, your outlook in life, what would change about it? How will it be? What will it look like? Because again, what you qualify, what you determine, what you define as financial independence is different from what I say it is. Now, Kate said financial independence is being able to pay for things with ease and be a blessing to others. Being able to pay for things with ease. You see the power of choice that we're talking about. Now, it's not a case of shall I not? No. It's a case of, okay, I want this, I like this, I need this, I want to have this, and without breaking into sweat, you pay for it. And also, be a blessing to others. You can see that for different people, financial independence will mean different things. But before we go further, I want us to do a small practical exercise. Because you remember when we were talking last week, we said one of the qualities that differentiates being paycheck mentality from being net worth mentality is in the mindset. So I want us to do like a mind game. Please, I need you to flow with me on this game. I want us to do a mind game. I want you to think of a specific day, a typical day. Let's say tomorrow, the 19th of May, 2017. I need you to just engage your imagination now. Just imagine tomorrow, Friday, the 19th of May, 2017. Imagine that day is filled with you being able to do anything and everything that you want, that you need, that you have, that just it's a normal day for you. But that day is so, it is as you wish and as you will, because you have achieved financial independence. Imagine the day. Imagine tomorrow, you wake up tomorrow and all your financial woes are gone, all your financial needs are met, you are now financially independent. I need you to just imagine that day in your head. Ezenwa, thank you for joining us. You're welcome. Now, I need you to keep that imagination, keep that picture in your head, because I want us to use it as a sounding board to answer this series of questions that I'm going to ask now. What I'm trying to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is for us to start to imagine, for us to have an inner picture of what it means to be financially independent. So, Now you are imagining tomorrow, Friday, the 19th of May, I am financially free. I am completely debt free. I don't have any worries concerning money, finance, resources. Everything is hunky-dory. Keeping that image, keeping that concept in your mind, I need you to answer this question. Now that you are financially free, Ngozi, thank you for joining us. Now that you are financially free, what time would you wake up from bed? What time will you actually get out of bed? You don't need to go and work. You have the money. You don't need to go and do anything, everything. What time will you get out of bed? Secondly, still keeping that image in your mind. What will actually wake you up in the morning? Will it be your alarm clock, or will it be your body clock? Thirdly, now you are awake. Now you are out of bed. What will be the first thing that you do? What would be the first thing that you would do? Number 4, what would you eat that morning? And why would you eat that particular item of food? What will you eat? Why will you eat? When will you eat it? Where will you eat it? How will you eat it? How would your day go? What would be the activities that you would do during the day? How would you spend the day knowing that you are completely, totally, utterly financially independent? How would you spend the day? What are the activities that you will pack into that day? How will you spend the evening? With whom will you spend the evening? What would your home look like? You see, I need you to spend a few moments in this daydreaming world that I'm trying to paint here, because that is what a typical day would be like, or is like, in the life of somebody who is financially independent. That's a typical day in the life of somebody who is financially independent. Now the question is, having imagined that day, hey, Abraham Fregene, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Having imagined that day, having put yourself in the picture of that day, having painted a picture of that day for yourself, for your life, now I need you to compare that to where you are currently. Compare that picture to where you are currently, and then I need you to answer this question. Are you ready to change where you are now to that image that you had in your head, or that you imagined a few minutes ago? Hey, Davidson, thank you. Hey, Gregory David, thank you. Shagun Yenose, thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. You see, when you compare where you are right now, your current situation, lifestyle, circumstances, financial situation, and all of that, when you compare that to that image that we've just painted, the question is, are you willing to change? Would you like to change the current status to match what you imagined in your head a few minutes ago? Because if you are ready to change that, I am ready to work with you. I want to change too. And let us work together on this journey, on this process, so that we can arrive at that position where we become better men and women who are financially independent. Ralph Waldo Emerson said something. He said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us." What is before us and what is behind us, they are small matters compared to what is within us. Isn't it so? The Bible talks about greater is he that is in us than he that's in the world. So whatever it is that is behind you, you've been through, whatever it is you are stretching your hand to reach, to grasp, to walk into, they are nothing compared to what's on the inside of you. What am I saying? I'm saying if you really want to live that life that we imagined a few minutes ago, it has to start from the inside. That is where the root is. That is where it has to start from. Because until it starts from there, there will be no manifestation on the outside. What you have to determine, the question you need to answer to yourself is this: whether financial independence lies within you or not. Do you think you have what it takes to become financially independent? Do you think you have what it takes to not depend on a paycheck, to live a life of your choice rather than a life chosen for you by something or someone else? It all lies within you. And the question is, do you think you have what it takes? You are the only one that can answer that question. Financial independence is something that everybody wants, but not everybody achieves it. And the question is why? Because we are all empowered, we all have what it takes to achieve it. So why is it that not everybody is attaining financial independence? The reason is this: financial independence is a process that requires effort and commitment, and you will have to put that effort and that commitment over a long period of time for you to arrive at that goal. The challenge is a lot of people are not willing to make the commitment. A lot of people are not willing to stay the course of the process. A lot of people are not willing to even start, talk less of going through the process to arrive at that level. Unless you are prepared, unless you are committed, unless you are ready, unless you have made up your mind to go through what it will take, financial independence will only be an imagination and not a reality. And my prayer is God will empower you and strengthen you and engrace you to be, you and I, to be able to go through whatever it takes for us to arrive at the destination of financial independence in Jesus' name. The end goal for financial independence is that you have more options and less money-related stress. That's the end goal of being financially independent. It's so that you have more options, you have more choice, you have the ability, the power to make choices. And at the same time, money-related stress is no longer an issue in your life. Being financially independent could include things like getting out of debt, having a large enough fund to cover unexpected occurrences, being on track in planning for your retirement. It could be paying off your mortgage. It could be earning enough money that you don't have to worry about your bills. Whatever it is, you have what it takes. You have it on the inside. The challenge is we've all been accustomed, we've been trained, we've been educated, we've been brought up with some myths that are really handicapping us, that are holding us back, that has become obstacles and challenges, unsurmountable mountains in our effort to become financially independent. And tonight we're going to dismantle this myth, and then we're going to come up and learn the realities of what it takes to be financially independent. And if you are ready or to embark on this journey with me tonight, I'm ready. Let's go. Hey, Mark Waraka, thank you for joining us. Thank you, sir. So what are some of the myths when it comes to financial independence? The first myth is this: is the fact that we've been told, we've been trained, we've been brought up to say you can use money the same way everybody around you is using it and still end up being financially independent. That you can use money, you can treat money, you can relate to money, you can handle it, you can manage it, you can do whatever you want, just like everybody else, and you can still be financially independent. That's not true. That is not true. If you are using money like most people are, if you are using money like most people are, if you are living above your means, where your income, your outgoing is more than your income, if you are buying things on credit and making monthly payment, if you are trying to put away a few bucks there whenever and however, if you are doing any of those, you will not be financially independent. For instance, in America, I found out when I was preparing for this program that the Department of Health and Human Services, they monitor people who, especially those who are employed by the government. They monitor them from the time they started working all the way through to their retirement age, which is at the age 65 in America. And what they found out is 95% of those people after retirement are financially broke. They don't have anything to live on after retirement. Some of them probably have worked for 30, 40, 50 years. And then retirement will come, they are retired. And some of them are now still living on benefits, on support from families, and they still carry a bagload of debt with them. And most of them, they die in that same situation, in that same position. So, if you live a life where you are living above your means, where you are buying things in credit, where you have this American Express and Visa and MasterCard and MBNA and everything, just swipe the card, everything just put it on lay-by, everything just buy it now and pay in 6 months' time, or it's interest-free for 4 years, and you keep amassing and accumulating that, you are just heaping on yourself a heavy load, a heavy burden. And for that, such person cannot become financially independent. So the first myth about financial independence is that you cannot be spending money, be treating money, be handling money, be living life just like everybody else and think one day something will just happen and you become financially independent. It won't happen. It will not happen. Myth number 2. Thanks, Deborah, for joining us. Myth number 2 is the assumption or the belief that the responsible use of credit can enhance your financial well-being. The responsible use of credit can enhance your financial well-being. What do I mean by that? Again, like I said at the beginning, we live in a society where everything is on borrowed. Everything is borrowed. Everything is on debt. Everything is buy now, pay later, credit card, and everybody is indebted to somebody, somewhere, somehow. And we have also, especially in the Western world, been trained to say, if you don't have debt, then you don't have good credit history. And because you don't have good credit history, you won't be able to buy something. You won't be able to take out loan. You won't be able to take out mortgage. You won't be... Listen to this. The only people, only the merchants and the lenders benefit from your using credit, not you. It is the lender and the merchants that benefit. In fact, when you live on credit, when you buy things on credit, all you are doing is you are raising the price of everything you are buying. All credit does for you is raise the price of the things you buy. Do you know why? Because every time you buy on credit, accrued interest is added, and the longer that is not paid, the more the interest will increase. And before you know it, that is why you hear people say, oh, the credit card balance was only 2,000, and now they say I'm owing 18,000. I mean, it's only, no, because over the years, you have amassed a lot of accrued interest. So something that you thought you bought for 2,000, 5 years down the line, you are now paying 18,000 for that same item that, as at that time, has no residual value, but yet the debt is still following you. So the idea that using credit can enhance your financial well-being it's not true. It's not true at all. It is not true. So that's myth number 2. The third myth when it comes to financial independence is where they say you can get out of debt by putting a little extra on each bill per month. That you can get out of debt by putting a little bit on each bill every month. That is a long journey. That is a marathon. And in most cases, it's a journey that people don't come back from. Because remember, when you pay a little bit extra on your bill, it doesn't mean you are not accruing other bills for that set for the next month and the month after and the month after and the month after. So putting a little bit extra on your current bill does not set you free financially. It does not. In order for you to effectively eliminate debt, you have to apply the military principle of massing of forces, which means you gather your resources and you attack an item of debt head on. You subdue, you conquer that one, and that one is gone. Then you go to the next one, rather than spreading yourself too thin to the point where you are not even effective on any of them. Bola Shokoya, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, ma'am. A quick rule of thumb will be to pay off your debt in order of their outstanding balances. Pay off your debt in order of their outstanding balances. Start with the smallest, pay that off, then use that money to attack the next one and put some money again towards that. And one by one, you eliminate your debt like that. So that is myth number 3. The fact that you are told that you can get out of debt by putting a little extra on each bill each month. It's not true. Myth number 4 is when they say you need to learn how to manage credit. You need to learn how to manage credit. If you remember at the beginning, we said debt is a slave master. It's a yoke, it's a burden, it's a disease. How would you like to manage a disease? Chibuzo, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Learn how to eliminate credit from your life, not how to manage it. The idea of managing credit is like your doctor or somebody say, "Oh, don't worry, this health issue, you can just manage it. You don't need to cure it. You don't need to be healed from it. Just manage it." None of us will choose that. None of us will agree to that. But yet, that is what we are being advised. That is what is being prescribed when it comes to debt, to credit, to financial slavery. Oh, just manage it. There's no amount of managing of credit or debt that you can do that will set you free financially. Because if you eliminate debt one by one, it will get to a point where there's no more debt in your life. Now you don't even need the so-called credit history. You want to buy something, you put your hand in your pocket, you pay for it. The only reason people need credit history is because you want to use it as a leverage to say, I am a good creditor, you can lend me this money. But if you have your money in your pocket, you don't need to borrow. You don't need to take anything on credit. You just pay for it by cash. Every time you manage credit or you manage debt, you are signing up for the same, like those people in America where 95 of them after retirement are still heavily under the yoke and the bondage of debt. Myth number 5 says to be successful, you have to work smarter, not harder. That's not true. I think we tackled that in one of the previous program that we did when we talked about become a better man, work. And we talked about there is a premise to work smarter. But before you reach that level of working smarter, you must have worked harder to get to a point where you can now start to work smarter. And we said the smarter doesn't mean you don't still do the work. The smarter simply means you now engage your mental faculty, your brain, your thinking, your imagination. You engage that to know how to do what you are doing. Because prior to that, you have labored, you have worked hard to master how to do the same thing and do it easier or do it in a better way. Now you can now apply the smarter aspect to it. And we also talked about all this issue of working smarter. When you look at what it's talking about, it's talking of, they'll be telling you about, have a priority, have a to-do list, have a time for everything, allocate minutes, which is, they are all good, but all it teaches you is to do that on the work, not on yourself. You apply those principles to the work, not on yourself. And for as long as you are not growing as a person, as long as you are not improving as a person, you are not adding value to yourself as a person, guess what? You are still in the same place, irrespective of how smart your work looks like. So the idea that you can work smarter and not harder is a myth, and it's not true. Ufoma, thank you. Wiki, thank you for joining us. I appreciate all of you. Please, let's go and share today's program. I'm sure it'll be a blessing to both yourself and your friends. Thank you so much. So that's myth number 5. Myth number 6 says, and this is something we have heard over and over and over again, said to make money, you have to use OPM. You have to use OPM. What is OPM? Other people's money. You have to use other people's money. The danger with using other people's money is this. A lot of people, when they have access to other people's money, don't know how to manage it in the first place. But more than that, they have the tendency to forget that this money is not theirs. And a day of reckoning is coming when the owner of this money is going to ask for it back. But more than that, is going to ask for it with accrued interest. And if you have not managed other people's money well, the day they come to ask you, I read something when I was preparing for this about this particular myth of using other people's money. For every one person that has succeeded in using other people's money to become financially independent, at least 100 of others, they have failed woefully. They have lost the business. They have lost the shirt on their back and even the house in which the shirt is hanging. So the idea that you can use other people's money to become financially independent, run from it. Run from it. So once you free yourself from these misconceptions and this idea of oh, you can do this, or all these myths that we have dealt with, once you free yourself from their grip, you will have eliminated the major obstacle standing between you and becoming financially free. Once you have knocked them out of your life, all these myths that we've looked at, once you have refused to embrace them, once you have kicked them out of your life, now you are in a position, now you are ready, now you have become a fertile ground into which the seed of financial independence can be planted. So the next step is, having kicked out those myths, we now need to embrace the realities of financial independence. We need to embrace the realities of financial independence. The first reality is, if you are not already financially independent, or if you are not well on your way to become financially independent, your financial behavior has to change for you to succeed. Your financial behavior, your relationship with finance must change in order for you to become financially independent. Hey, Pastor Emmanuel Mutizwa is with us. Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. There are two ways. There are two options. You know, the Bible talks about, I set before you life and death. Choose one. But in case you don't know what to choose, let me make a recommendation. Choose life. The same thing on tonight's program, I'm saying there are two options for us that is standing before us here. We either choose to walk away, or we choose to change. In order for us to become financially independent, we either choose to say, Tunde, you are just talking rubbish, you don't know what you're saying, and then you walk away. Or you look at yourself in the mirror and say, do you know what? I need to change. The truth is this, ladies and gentlemen, personally, there are so many things on tonight's program that I am changing. I need to change. I have to change. I must change. For me also to be at a position where I will become financially independent. Like Apostle Paul said, I can't preach to all of them, then they go to heaven, and then I lose out. No. This is not me sitting here and telling you, you go and do that. No. It relates to you and it relates to me. And together, we're on this journey to get to the destination called better man and better woman. Hey, Denise Bryce, thank you for joining us. So the first reality is that you have to make a choice, I have to make a choice, and a decision that we're going to change rather than walk away from today's program as far as the management of our finances is concerned. The second reality is that you and I, we have to make a commitment. We have to be willing to do whatever it takes. We have to be willing to pay the price. We have to be willing to embark and engage and put our backs to it in order for our situation to change. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. That's the only place where you come across success before you see work. It's in the dictionary. So being able to work if you want to, or not work if you don't want to, is true freedom. And you deserve to enjoy it. But in order for you to enjoy it, you have to pay the price. You have to do whatever it takes to get to it. Hey, Fatima of Buki Salako, thank you for joining us. So that's the second reality. The third reality is you must develop and maintain a long-term view. Financial independence is not, it won't drop on you tomorrow. Look at it this way. Neither of us, none of us got to this position where we are now between yesterday and today. It's taking a long time, 10, 15, 20 years, some even longer, to be where you and I are right now at this very point in time, where we are under the yoke and the burden of financial grip or bondage. So it's not going to happen by you snapping your finger and then tomorrow, voila. It's not a magic. It is something that you have to know that this is a long-term project. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You have to be prepared and be committed to see it through. Rome was not built in a day, you know. Rome was not built in a day. And when you hear people say things like, I really should pay off my debt and start building my financial independence fund, but you know, I still have a few things I need to buy, and I'll just go and get them first before I start this process of being financially free. You know, I need to. When you hear people like that, run from them. Because what they are saying invariably is this: I want to continue to waste my life taking no action to build a better future, and then we'll deal with the consequences when we get there. The reality is, such people will end up like those people, those 95% of pensioners who are still financially struggling. So the reality is, it is a long-term journey. And the funny thing is, if you don't make that decision now, for every day that you wait to start the process, listen to this, for every day that you wait to start the process, on the long run, it will cost you an estimated average of £423 in lost future wealth for every day that you wait to make that decision and follow it through. Reality number 4. It takes more than a few weeks to build real financial independence. Financial independence may not be possible by following the path that you have traveled to get to where you are now. If what you have done up to now can give you financial independence, you will have been free by now, but it will not. However, it is possible once you shed those myths that we talked about, you embrace the realities that we're talking about, and you commit yourself to a sound, structured plan to achieve your financial independence. Once you switch the table on yourself, then you're on your way to becoming financially independent. Hey, Fisayo, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Thank you. So, what are those steps that you and I need to take to become financially independent? Quickly, the first one is you have to convert your definition into an action plan. Remember at the beginning I said you need to determine, you need to define what is financial independence to you, because to everybody it's different. What it means to you is different from what it means to me. So you now need to go back and pick up what you defined as financial independence as far as you are concerned. You need to pick it up, look it straight in the eye, and commit it into an action plan. You need to commit it into an action plan. Once you have established your goal, then you pursue it with vigor. Start small. Start with baby steps. Little by little. Take your time. Don't be like the man at the London Marathon who was at the starting point, and as soon as the whistle goes to say start, he took off like he was Usain Bolt. And then half an hour, maybe an hour into the race, you're wondering, where is that man? Where is he? Because he didn't pace himself. So when it comes to financial independence, you need to pace yourself. You need to start little and build your muscle. You don't go to the gym for the first time. You haven't been in the gym for the past since Noah was a boy. And then you go to the gym today and say, oh, give me 250 kg, let me lift it. And then I want to do 5 miles in 3 minutes on the treadmill. I want to pump the iron. It's not going to work. It will not work. It will not work. So when it comes to becoming financially independent, you have to take baby steps and build the momentum as you go along. Yemi Adetayo, thank you for joining us. Paul, thank you for joining us. My friend Paul, thank you. The key to accomplishing any goal is that goal must be doable. It must be doable. If not, you will give up halfway through. If the goal is not achievable, if it's not doable, if it's not something you can achieve, you will get tired, you get frustrated, and you give up halfway through. So the second action, the second way for us to become financially independent is that the first one we said, commit your goals to action plan. The second step is now implement your action plan and do it immediately. Those action plans, implement them and do them instantly, immediately. Speed is important when it comes to accomplishing any goal. Speed is of essence when it comes to achieving any goal. You have to make a decision and act on your decision immediately. Especially with a major life shift like creating financial independence. You don't have room to be dilly-dallying. Maybe now, okay, maybe we'll start it next month. Why don't we leave it till the third quarter of the year, then we start it? Delayed plans have a way of turning into no plans. Delayed plans, they have a way of turning into no plans. So the sooner you get started, the faster you will build the momentum and the quicker you will arrive at your goal. The third step is that you need to change your spending habits. You know, at the beginning of this month, I said we're going to come to your address and look at your wallet. You need to change your spending habit. This is perhaps the hardest part for anybody that wants to become financially independent, because we are creatures of habit. We're used to doing things a certain way. So it will take a conscious effort. It will take a deliberate attempt and conviction for us to change that habit. So you need to change your spending habit. You need to change it. And how do you change it? How do you lose weight? You put yourself on a diet. At least one of the easiest way to lose weight is to put yourself on a diet. It's the same thing when you're with regards to your finance. Put your finance on a diet. Put your finance on a diet. It will involve a healthy dose of self-denial. A healthy dose of self-denial will help you as you work on changing your spending habits. You have to be serious. You have to be purposeful. You have to be committed to this aspect of changing your spending habit. It's not a one-time event. You know, where everybody knows when sales will start. Everybody knows when buy one, get two free is going on in the supermarket. So everybody is preparing and people are queuing. Oh, it's Boxing Day, they'll go and queue. No, you need to take your eyes off all of that, because now you have a program that you are working on. If you treat it as anything less, without that conviction, that passion and commitment, if you treat it anything less, all the effort that you've put into it will just go to waste, because it will not yield the required result. You must review all of your expenses, big or small. Review all of your expenses. All this will be done from your definition of what financial independence means to you. It may be uncomfortable. In fact, it will be uncomfortable because, like I said, we are creatures of habit. It will be uncomfortable, but trust me, habits has been said can be created if you do the same thing at the same time, in the same way, consistently for 21 days. You're forming a habit with regards to that issue. So the question is, are you going to commit that 21 days into doing it same day, same time, same way, same day, same time, same way? And the more you do that, the more you are able to go ahead on your journey to become financially independent. The fourth thing that you can do to accelerate becoming financially independent is that you need to save more than you thought you could. You need to save more than you thought you could. Okay, now you look at your, I don't think I can save more than 5%. Yes, start with that, but don't stop on that. Don't hang your cap on that. As time goes on, increase it. Force yourself to increase it. Force yourself to increase it to 10, to 15, to 18, to 20. And before you know it, the more you increase it, the more you will adjust and tighten your belt, as it were. The government have said it over and that we need to tighten our belt. Then do it for yourself. I'm going to do it for myself in my own house. Tighten your belt. Squeeze a little bit. Some of the things that we thought, oh, I can't do with that, you'll be surprised. And that in 2 weeks' time, you won't even remember what it tastes like. In a few weeks' time, in a few months' time, you won't even, somebody will talk to you about it and say, what's that? But it will take that discipline to be able to do that. And finally, create a workable investment plan. It is good to have a savings account, but just saving money will not do you much good. But when you convert your savings into investment, when you turn your savings over to viable investment, now you're on your way to truly becoming financially independent. Remember last week we talked about our very good friend, the law of compound interest. Once the law of compound interest kicks in into your savings and your investment, you're on your way home. You are home and dry. You are swimming in the ocean of financial independence. So create a workable investment plan. Saving money is critical, but so is applying ways to invest that money so that that money can now start to work for you rather than you just working for the money. When you convert your savings to investment, you have now empowered your money to work for you rather than you just working for money. Afolabi Victor, thank you for joining us. However, if you've never been much of an investor or you have not cultivated the habit of savings and investing, let me quickly give you a few headlines. I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't advise you on how to save or what to save into or what to invest in. But as a general rule, let me quickly give you some heads up. Number one, create a portfolio model that is consistent with your goal and circumstance. Create a portfolio model that is consistent with your goal and your circumstance. Number two, get professional help. Get professional help. Yes, you may need to pay a financial advisor, but you're not paying for him. You're paying for his wisdom, for his knowledge, for his ability to help you. Rather than you thinking, oh, Jack said we can invest in this. Then you put your money into what Jack said, and Jack has no knowledge. He heard about it in the barber shop. Now you've committed your life savings into that, and everything is gone. But you can do that by getting professional help. Also, you can automate your savings. Automate your savings. What do I mean by that? Set it up so that the amount you want to save is deducted directly from your salary into your savings account. That way, the temptation to spend it and then think, oh, okay, maybe I'll double it next month, that temptation is removed. Automate your savings. Talk to your HR department or wherever you work. They can always set that up for you. And finally, be in it for a long haul. Ladies and gentlemen, how far you go with any of these steps will depend on what your definition of financial independence is. And also, it will determine how quickly you achieve it. The likelihood, however, is that you are going to need to implement most, if not all, of the steps that we've talked about tonight. Number one, you need to get rid of the myth. Number two, you need to embrace the realities. And number three, you need to follow those steps that we have enumerated tonight, which are the steps for you to become financially independent. The true measure of wealth is this: your net worth. That's the true measure of wealth. But your net worth is determined by what you own minus what you owe. Your net worth is equal to what you owe, what you own, what you have, what is yours, minus what you owe, what belongs to somebody else. So depending on how much of what you have is what you owe will determine what your net worth is. So the idea of this program is to bring all of us to a point where most of, if not all, of what we own belongs to us, and all of that will become our net worth. It will become our net worth. Ladies and gentlemen, financial independence is possible. Being financially free is a reality, but it will take work, effort, commitment, education, enlightenment, determination, decision on our part for us to arrive at that destination where we can then choose to live a life like the one we imagined at the beginning. You remember the imagination exercise that we did. It is possible for us to arrive at that destination if all of us will commit to these steps and more that will come across as we embark on this journey. I am convinced, I am so convinced that it is possible, it's a reality, and it is in your hand and in my hand to become financially independent. What's the task for this week? The task is simple. Determine to be free. Determine to be free. Choose freedom. Choose to live a life of financial independence. And be committed. Be committed to that choice because your future depends on it. Your future depends on it. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your time. If you have not shared tonight's program, let's go ahead and share it so that it can be a blessing to others, and you too can have a footprint of it on your timeline should you need to go back and listen to it. Maybe there's something you missed. Maybe you stepped into the kitchen and you didn't get a point that was made. You can listen to it again and again and again. And also your contacts can benefit from it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Like I said last week, I'm still working with Dr. Emoideme for the month of June to be dedicated completely to reproductive medicine. Hopefully by next week's program, that will be confirmed so that we can all be ready, talk about it, spread the news, and get people ready to be part of those programs in June. I'm sure it is going to be a knockout. It's going to be a wow. We're all going to become knowledgeable as far as reproductive medicine, fertility, and all of that is concerned. So I will come back next week to confirm the arrangement. Once again, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your effort. I want to thank you for your commitment to this program. It honors me to know that every week when I come and sit before this camera, you are there to hear what I have to say. It's an honor to be listened to, and I appreciate it. I thank you, and I hope something that we have said tonight would have added value or would add value to you, something you can take away and make your life a better place, a better one. And don't forget, like we say, and we've always said, we are not stopping. We refuse to stop. We choose not to stop until we arrive at that destination called better man and better woman. So until next week, when we meet again to look at another episode of Become a Better Man, this is Tunde Disu once again saying, thank you. God bless you. Have a blessed week. And look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.